Well, it's such a pleasure to be speaking with both of you because Happy Days is one of my favorite shows growing up. Still holds up, still great. But Don, in your case, your Gilbert Gottfried podcast episode was fantastic.
Oh,
Anson, you direct excellent television. So it's wonderful to see that you two are not defined by just being on one of the greatest TV shows of all time. So, Anson, is that enough compliments for now, or do we have to keep it going?
It's a beginning.
Okay.
a good beginning, a
That's
promising.
It's an okay beginning. It's fine. What's important is this is our event. We can't wait to meet everybody. So
yeah. So it's the 50th anniversary at Gallatin. I believe I'm saying that correct.
yep.
50th anniversary of Happy Days. Yeah, and we're going to be at the Gallatin Comic Con October 26th and 7th, I think. I'm pretty sure. And there's going to be a panel. Henry's going to be there as well. And there's
Yes.
going to be a panel one day, Henry Winkler, of course. I think on the Sunday, the second day, there's going to be a panel about the 50th anniversary of Happy Days.
And also, guess who else is there? One of my favorites, Mickey Dolenz, will be
All right.
there.
Yeah,
Same
Mickey.
time. So yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty star-studded thing. You see, Greg Land is there. Samantha, who worked on Gem and the Hologram.
Who?
Greg Land, celebrated comic artist Greg Land.
Oh.
No, I know. I'm kidding. I'm just being facetious. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a great gathering of folks. And I'm curious, Anson, do you remember the first mega Comic Con that you did?
No.
Yeah, I can't remember the first, like big one that we did. Isn't that funny? I guess they started to blend together in some ways.
Well, Chiller was pretty big. I don't know if Chiller's not really a Comic Con.
It's the same thing. That's one in Jersey.
Yeah, Chiller.
That's right. We did Dragon Con.
Yeah, Dragon Con. Yeah, Dragon Con, Chiller. Those were two of the first big
we
ones.
We did Salt Lake City. We just did that one, and where's that? The huge one we just did with Henry. It was at Vegas. We're with Bobby. Where was that?
Not the one in Wisconsin.
No, the other one before that.
Ocean City.
No, before that.
well, to rudely interrupt you two, what I'm hearing is you were both working steadily on the nostalgia end, but in the case of Don, I know that you just did a play. You just filmed a movie that's coming out in the near future. Again, Anson, you're directing Up a Storm. So it's fascinating to see that simultaneously future and past for both of you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's for that. Well, go ahead, Don.
No, you take that. Go ahead.
I can take. Well, early on in Happy Days, Happy Days was more than just a television show. Mm-hmm. It really was a college for us. And Garry Marshall, our mentor, our creator, our everything, made sure that he inspired us to learn everything we could about entertainment, so we'd have a chance to survive in entertainment. You can't just be an actor, most of us, but you have to have wear other hats. And he really inspired that. And if you look at Happy Days, look at the talent that came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Henry, beyond just actors. I mean, Don, by the way, is a great director, great writer. He's like a phenomenal performer. He does the American Songbook all over the country, and I've been to numerous concerts that he performed in, never without a standing ovation.
Oh, thanks,
myself, he inspired another career for me, not only in entertainment, directing, but also as an entrepreneur. Right. He saw abilities in me beyond entertainment. So I was able to go in the product business at the same time, get 40 products to market. And I'm still doing that.
And the restaurants.
And the restaurants, that was my education in business of what not to do. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But anyway, but yes, basically, Garry inspired all of us, educated us. We use the Paramount Lot as a college, and we're all surviving and working today because we wear many hats and work hard. And it's so funny because even at the beginning, we're sitting down he sat us down and he says, you know, you guys are going to be famous. You guys are going to be very famous. You don't deserve it. There's going to be a light on you. You've got to take the light and put it on people that deserve it. Mm-hmm. That's your job. So that went everywhere from entertainment to social conscious situations. So in other words, take your light and use it constructively for other people that need help. And so Garry just inspired us in so many areas of life and living, whatever. And yes, that getting back to it, that's why today, yes, we're busy. We're busy because Garry gave us the tools to have a long-term career in life.
Well, you mentioned Don's excellent singing career. Anson, you yourself had the Deeply single. And my friend Joe pointed out that Deeply was written by the same people who did the Happy Days theme. So not the only... Exactly. So, Gimbal Fox, not the only collaborators in the musical space. Don, did you know from early on that singing was going to be your long-term play?
I started out with more of my focus on singing when I was pretty young, when I started going to a school in Manhattan for singing and acting and dancing, but it was singing that was uppermost in my mind then. I was like 14, and then wound up getting picked to be in a sort of a nightclub review that we performed one summer up in the Catskill Mountains, resort area, upstate New York, all the hotels. So I was like really, really fixated on the singing. And then it took a turn. Then the next year or two, I started being exposed to, it was an incredible time, a very fervent time for filmmaking in the late 60s, early 70s. And I became a huge fan of going to see some of those great movies and the stars. And that's when it kind of shifted for me. And then I put the music aside and knew I'd come back to it at some point. But I was really shifting, laser focused on acting. And now, 10 years ago is when I said to myself, I knew I want to go back to doing it, not giving up acting, but incorporating it, doing it side by side or however it would be. And I said, this is the time because, I'm not getting much younger. And if I'm going to do it, I better do it. So I went after it, and one thing, met a music director, and then we got musicians and did my first club in LA, a jazz club. And then it led to more jazz clubs and some in New York and all over, and 2 CDs. And so it's great. The last year, I haven't had time to do it. I'm going to start getting back into it now. But I was busy with some of these films and stuff and moving. But I'm looking forward to continuing to do both. That's what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah, now,
I'm just glad, I just was the first one to talk to Garry Marshall about doing music on the show. I'm just glad it wasn't a competition between Don and I, because he'd have won.
Well, who knows about that? But who knows? But we're still gonna do some stuff together.
We're gonna do some stuff together. We do quite a few events and things together. We actually have a Happy Days live show with clips. I think there's 14 songs we split up to sing, and we do stage fairs, civic centers, and it's really it's wonderful. We get wonderful crowds, and it's so much fun to just give everyone really a Happy Days evening. God knows we need it.
Yeah.
Just forget everything. Let's get together. Let's bond together. Let's just have a great evening.
Yeah, reminisce, and some great clips, stories, and the music. People seem to love it. So we're going to do more of that for sure.
One band that I know that always gets named around you two is Weezer. And the Buddy Holly video of the mid-90s, when it came on every Microsoft 95 Windows CD, and it won the VMAs and all that, brought a lot of eyes back onto Happy Days and all that. Was that all positive for you? I'll start with Anson first.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I don't know about Don, but the only one I think that was brought in to film with them was Al Molinaro.
Yeah.
Okay, Big Al. Otherwise, it was all clips of us.
Yes.
And David Geffen wrote us personal letters. saying, "Hey, how about it?" And to me, I first of all love the band, and what an honor for the show. Really, to be that iconic with such a current hot group. I thought, and it was all positive. I thought it was fantastic.
Now, Don, in your case, if I read pop-up video correctly, if you remember that show on VH1, the director Spike Jonze, there was a specific shot that they couldn't get you the correct angle, so Spike Jonze dyed his hair red, so it was him as you from the back. Did you ever hear that?
No, gosh, I don't think I knew that. That's so funny. I didn't know that. You'd think I would have noticed that, hey, that's not me. You think, but somehow it slipped by me.
I'm gonna have to look at that video again now. We have to right after this interview.
Yeah, I want to see that.
It's just one shot from the back, and that's Spike Jonze's dedication, dyeing his hair red just for one behind back shot, not casting an extra. But Don, did that change things for you at all? Suddenly, being in a clip that MTV was always showing for a year?
Not really. I don't think so. I don't remember, any significant sort of change in terms of now new things coming my way or being offered or opportunities. I don't. I mean, people certainly were aware of it, and maybe would mention it to me and talk about, what a good job they did of kind of recapturing. They had to rebuild some of Arnold's to make it look exactly or very close to what we had on the show. So people would talk to me, but I don't remember it changing in the career that much. It was still a matter of, at that time especially, really plugging away and pushing forward, keep the ball moving. Because there were some times, as people might expect, you got so associated with that show and the one character that it could be tough to break out of. But I just kept pushing, and
both of you did. Big time.
Yeah, we all did. Big time is right. But it brought some light to us. So I'm sure it might have done things in ways that I was not even aware of.
Well, one more music/Happy Days question for you. Then I want you to both tell me what's coming next besides the Gallatin Expo, and then you're free for me. How does that sound?
Wow. Sounds good.
Great. That sounds great. I'm kidding.
Of course you are. Legendary director Anson Williams is
can we elongate this now? This is
Lizzie McGuire and Secret Life of American Teenager, etc. Anson Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the question. Happy Days had so many great guest stars, and people talk about those guest stars over time, but people don't really talk about a young Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers being a guest star. I think he was bullying Chachi or something along those lines in one episode. Is that anything that you remember? Because IMDb does not have Anthony Kiedis on there.
That is totally new information. Is that fact? Is that a fact?
I saw the clip on a VH1 Before They Were Stars thing, and I know it's a kid actor. His name was Cole Damet or Cole Damet, something like that. And I saw the clip of it, but it's not on his IMDb. So it's one of those things where you go, I know I didn't imagine this. I know I saw Anthony Kiedis with a bowl cut.
So for sure it's him.
Yeah.
I have no idea. None. Zero. Zip.
And for you, Don, no recollection.
We should reach out and find that out. That's very interesting.
Well, and if this is true, it sounds like it might have been after I left the show, because Chachi being bullied, I don't remember that episode. That might have been after in the last 3-4 seasons, probably, because I don't remember, have no knowledge or recollection of it like Anson. Same thing. I have no idea.
Well, I think what we're learning here is the alternative music scene of the mid-90s owes a lot to Happy Days. That's the
that's the lesson of the day here.
That's
you have to get a clip. No, I think you've got to get a clip or something of that moment, and we make it into pictures. and he signs it and we sign it. It'll be an incredible collectible, like one of a kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one of those Vegas casino lithographs that they sell at the shady stores right outside of the gaming area.
I don't know. I'm not going that far down the line. No, not that far. Just, a nice picture, that's it,
Well, back to you, Anson, here. So besides the Gallatin Comic-Con, where should we be looking for you? What's coming up? Or is it just a look at my Instagram and shut up?
I'm so bad with social media, by the way. I mean, everyone, even Don, I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. Null and void, pretty much. No, I'm very busy. Entrepreneurially, I won't get into it, but a lot of new platforms of entertainment I'm involved in, business-wise. Creatively, I'm very excited. We have an offer out now to Jodie Comer, major actress. My wife, Sharon Scott Williams, is a brilliant writer. She wrote a play called Crazy Mama, and it exploded. And we're premiering it at the Rubicon Theater here in Ventura County before Broadway, actually March of 2025. And it's a terribly important play. It's entertaining, it's emotional, but it's about mental illness in a way that's incredibly embraceable. Opens the doors, brings down the barriers. And it's basically her life story as a child. It's incredibly special, incredibly effective, incredibly connectable. When we did previews of this, people would come up crying because everybody has some kind of problem with their mom or their dad, something. It hit people on so many different levels. It was cathartic, whatever. And yeah, thank you. And it's just a powerful piece that's beyond entertaining. That's now going places, and I have the opportunity to direct it. So I've gone from film to theater, and I'm incredibly excited about it because, like Garry Marshall taught us, take the light on something that's going to help people. Well, this helps people. This is taking your talent, putting on a project that's really going to service the public. It's really going to service bringing the light on mental illness in a positive way to do positive things to help people. So that's priority for me.
That's fantastic. Before I asked Don about the movie that he was telling me about before he got on the call, your memoir, do we want to buy your memoir or have you just
you can go on Amazon.com. It's called Singing to a Bulldog. And it's different. It's not really a memoir. It's the most important person, other than close friends and my parents, the most important person in my life was a African-American janitor when I was in high school. I was assistant janitor, working part-time. And his name was Willie Turner. And this janitor turned my life around with his life lessons. And the book is really a tribute to Willie. And he used to call the janitorial room the talk room. He wasn't well educated. He's a functioning alcoholic, but he was a prophet. And he called the janitorial room the talk room. And we sit on 2 oil jump cans, and he talked to me, not at me. I had a hard upbringing, too. And he helped me find me. And his life lessons for me were incredible. I wanted to bring the public into the talk room so they could have the same opportunity with the same lessons that inspired me and really made my life.
The book's great. The book is great. I just loved it. So, people should definitely check it out. Singing to a Bulldog, right? That's the title. Yeah.
And your movie, what that sounds like it's very important, the subject matter. You said it was based on a true story?
Oh, the movie that's coming out. Yeah, it's called Harson's Island Revenge. And based on a true story during the 1920s, during Prohibition, with all the bootlegging going on. It takes place in Michigan, Detroit, and a little bit north, some of the islands in the Upper Peninsula. And there were all these, there was Al Capone and his gang that were doing bootlegging, and there was some others, but this was a gang called the Purple Gang, real story, and they were a Jewish mob, and I play the head of the Jewish mob, and they were considered, they were one of the most feared, vicious, just vicious, really terrifying people. I mean, people were terrified of this mob. I'm not. It's not like I'm the star of the movie, but I have very prominent. I have 3 scenes, and it's such a different role. You can imagine me playing this kind of a character, but it was great, a great experience for me. I loved it, and I hear the movie came out great. So it's coming out in November. Maybe select theaters at the beginning. Then I'm not sure which platform, but we'll find out. And I have a CD out. People could, on the singing side, it's called New York High. People could check that out too.
And when you say secret Jewish mob, you mean very different from Kiss and very different from Garry Marshall and all the other people with their hidden Jewish names like Paltrowitz.
Yes. Yeah. Different sort completely. It's based on a book of the same name, Harson's Island Revenge. And it turns out a bunch of group of World War I vets who are on this island wind up taking on the Purple Gang. So it's a pretty interesting story. That is actually true.
So your film I have to see, Anson, your book I have to read, the play that's coming out in 2025. Looking forward to that. You two are still entertaining all these decades later. So thank you for the great art that you both put out into the world, and really looking forward to what's next.
Thanks, Darren. Thank you so much.